Hello, welcome everybody. Another episode of Alcoholics Unanimous. I am your host, Josh. I am an alcoholic. Coming to you live a couple weeks after my last episode, which was The Experiment. If you haven't listened to that, make sure you go check it out. This is kind of a follow-up episode for that. If you don't want to listen to it, I'll give you a little bit of a breakdown. 3.5 years, no alcohol. Thought I was doing great. Thought maybe I could try something new. Thought I could maybe conquer some demons. So I tried drinking again. And didn't work out so well. And I kind of go into what I was feeling, what I was experiencing, everything that kind of happened in that experience. So check that out. You can find it on, you found this one, so I'm pretty sure you can find the episode before it. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's feeling good. Got some updates for y'all. Actually, first, if you would, please like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify. Able to track a lot of metrics that way. There's some Q&A stuff too on the Spotify app. So go ahead and answer that question there. Really just kind of what were your thoughts? Any feedback for me? Anything really that you want to shoot my way. Maybe you want me to cover some topics or something like that too. Feel free to do so. Yes, again, Spotify and YouTube. It's just both of them. Alcoholics Unanimous with Josh. Make sure you search with Josh. There is one other Alcoholics Unanimous out there. Definitely the lesser, especially around here, we call it the lesser Alcoholics Unanimous podcast. Just kidding. I've never really listened to them. I'm sure they're great. Go ahead and do that. Subscribe to my Instagram as well, at JWaterDidIt. But anyways, let's see. So I think last episode, I talked about being like a month into, not drinking and taking medication as well. I don't know where I came up with that month because it's barely been 5 weeks now. So sorry for that. I don't know why that was the number I chose. Maybe I hadn't really thought about it or calculated it too well. But I am actually, I went back, and the 24th of June was the last day I indulged, and then first day also that I was getting on my medication. And I got to tell you, I feel different. In a lot of good ways. Nothing super negative either, actually. I think first and foremost, the huge difference that I feel is just my moment-to-moment anxiety. I have just more patience. It doesn't feel like time is ticking out, time is running out, and it's always just ticking down, and that tightness in my chest is kind of just gone. It still crops up every once in a while, but it's a lot easier to manage. It's a lot easier to just kind of let things go, let things roll off my back, not take things so seriously or personally or anything like that. It's been allowing me to kind of see things through other people's eyes or perspectives a little bit, be more understanding, just less snappiness in general from me. Also, I think I've noticed a little bit more smiling, more positive thoughts, without having to force myself out of that negative zone. I've noticed that I just have more control, I guess, over my thoughts, kind of just less depressed. It's kind of wild. I don't know how to, I guess, verbalize it. Obviously, perfect for a podcaster, but I think like it's something I haven't really felt before. So it is foreign to me. It's weird. I can't really liken it to anything I've experienced before. Like I went and got a haircut. I'm feeling pretty good. Just in my general waking life. Still, there's a lot of work that needs to happen. I think there's some ADHD stuff that I'm kind of noticing more now that I kind of got some of this bipolar symptoms a little bit under control, or more under control than, other things are starting to creep up. I'm starting to notice how distractible I am. Going to go to put on something on TV. Then I find myself on my phone or playing a video game or just distracted. And I sat down, wanted to watch TV, and I couldn't. I can't. Same with reading. Really, same with still on this job hunt. You know what I mean? Trying to stay focused through that has been the most grueling thing ever. Could find anything that will distract me. Let me just go clean up that. There's something here I can clean up. That'll make me feel better, and that'll get me going, get me motivated. 3 hours later, my whole house is clean, my whole apartment's spotless, which is not the worst thing in the world, but it's not the best thing in the world when you set out to find yourself a job and you end up with a clean apartment. Not the path that I was really trying to get to, but I did, I guess. So something to appreciate there. Clean apartment. Yeah. So as far as anxiety goes, huge difference there. The depression side, pretty big difference there. Not as significant as the anxiety. The anxiety, that, it feels so much better than just what I was basically living with and what I thought was normal for my whole entire life. So that's one of those areas that I'm just kind of wow. It's like when Squidward finally had a Krabby Patty, and he's like, all the wasted years. And his thighs blow up. But my thighs haven't blown up yet, but I do have that moment of God, all the wasted years. And I think for a couple reasons, I think this has kind of gone the right way. I sat down, I wrote some thoughts down, kind of just, what I was thinking about. I'm listening to also Russell Brand's book on recovery. Honestly, I forget what it's called. Please forgive me, but you can find it out there. It's pretty easy to find. But it's kind of interesting to hear somebody who's not necessarily you would say oh, that's the go-to for this kind of stuff. But and honestly, besides forgetting Sarah Marshall and Get Him to the Greek, there's not much else of Russell Brand that I really know about, besides the fact that he's an addict, and now I think he's doing his news thing. But I heard a lot of cool perspectives from him and kind of what he's gone through, his path of understanding, how he came to what what decisions and mindsets he came to, how he got there. Pretty interesting. Provoked some thoughts for me. And, I think the main thing for me was I just kind of stopped fighting myself. For a long time, and still, like, it's not like I'm 100% free of this, but, for a long time, I think I felt a lot of shame about who I am. And I didn't want to acknowledge or accept like these aspects of my life that were affecting me pretty greatly. And I just, would ignore them or tell myself that it's not true, or, whatever excuse I could come up with. Yeah. I was fighting that for a long time. And so like the message I wrote down for myself was, don't fight your demons. Don't fight them. Embrace them, love them, appreciate them. You put them there on purpose when you didn't know any better to protect you. Thank them for their service. But right now, and I think through the rest of time for me, those demons, and I say demons as because it's negatively impacting me now, but they weren't always demons. In fact, they weren't really anything except coping mechanisms. I put those in place just because I didn't know how to deal with what I was dealing with at the time I was dealing with it. Now that I have more understanding, more knowledge under my belt, I'm willing to look at them and kind of just be like, yeah, okay, I see what this is. I see what I was doing. Like, for example, I isolate like crazy. And I moved a few schools when I was younger. Friend groups changed a lot. I think like it just became easier for me to like not make friends, than to make friends and then, just next place. All right, see you guys. I didn't really know how to deal with that, or maybe I didn't want to deal with that, but I isolate myself, and it was really just for my own protection, right? Like I just wanted to, all right, here's who I am, here's what I'm about. That's it. And that wasn't conducive to a healthy lifestyle, nowadays. Now I hate isolating myself. I hate being alone. I like my alone time, don't get me wrong. I am pretty big introvert. And I need that time, to by myself sometimes, but not all the time. It's not good. It's not healthy. It's not a way that anybody should really live, is completely isolated. I guess, I shouldn't say nobody should live like that. There's probably people that can live like that do live like that are perfectly fine. To each their own, good job. That's just not me. I do need people around me. I need positive influences. I like laughing. I like, making jokes. I like, making people laugh. So you can't really do that by yourself. And I feel a lot of missing when I'm just isolating myself. So, that's just one example, I guess, for me of like, hey, you did this to kind of protect yourself. You didn't know what you were doing. Thank you. I appreciate it. Now I'm taking over. Me, right? I'm in control of this now. And if I didn't do that, I would be living pretty unrealistically. I think that was a big issue for me, my initial recovery. When I first got off the sauce, I think I was just kind of like floating through it. No rudder to steer myself, no anchor to just drop and pause and look where I'm at. I just kind of was aimlessly floating around in this sort of ocean of life that we're in. my recovery for a long time was just white knuckling, and just powering through another day of not drinking and not learning from what I've been going through, not taking notes, not appreciating the grind that I was actually doing. It was just kind of a rinse and repeat, and move on to the next thing. And that was day in, day out, and that gets tiring. Like that's also not healthy, right? Sure, I wasn't drinking. I wasn't poisoning my body that way, but I also wasn't helping myself. I wasn't recovering. I wasn't working any program, which I'm still not. It's the next step for me. I want to get back into AA. I want to work the steps. I want to, work the program, find a sponsor, eventually find sponsees, and just give back to the community in other ways than, something like this, which, is helpful for some, but mostly for me. It just kind of lets me talk and get stuff out and process things that I've been thinking about. It's so funny, real quick sidebar. People will talk to me about these episodes and then be like, dude, what you were saying, that was crazy, blah, 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 blah. I go, what did I say? I go, like, you just released it yesterday. You don't remember what you said? I'm like, no. This is just a download of information. I'm just offboarding stuff I think about. If you remind me, it's like you were saying this, you were saying that, about whatever, I'll be like, oh, yeah. But it's because I believe it. I might not remember what I exactly said, but it's because I believe it. So anytime you want to talk about any of these, hit me up, remind me of what the fuck I said, and then we can have a conversation about it. So anyways, it takes radical acceptance for this stuff. I've talked about this in the past, but radical acceptance is just looking at the truth as objectively as possible. And then accepting that as reality. It's almost like taking a scientific approach. I always liken it to like how a scientist would be performing an experiment, right? Like they have a thought, they have kind of like, oh, I think this, hypothesis of what would happen. But they're also open to being wrong, or they should be. And I think that's a hard thing for people to do with themselves. Certainly is very hard for me. And it's still something I have to like consistently work on and, try to come to grips with things. Sometimes it can be difficult. I'm not going to lie. So yeah, when I finally just sat down and just really surrendered, and stopped fighting these demons, and just accepted them and appreciated them, like I said earlier. I was able to just, okay, cool. This is the way it is. This is why, maybe even not even why. This is what I do, right? Like I isolate myself. I lie about things, so that either others don't worry or because I'm not ready to express what's been bothering me. I have to be able to, without judgment, without shame, look at that and just accept it for what it is. That's radical acceptance, right? Like that's looking at it objectively, like a scientist would. Here are the facts, as best as you can, right? Like obviously, I'm going to have a bias one way or another, a little bit, like unconscious, subconscious, whatever it might be. I'll have something like that, but that's part of the game. You got to try to remove as much of that as you can, and just look at it look at these situations and your mentality and the way you go about things as, like I said, as objectively as possible. Like pull yourself out, if you could. View yourself from a third party perspective. So that's tough. That is tough, right? Like it's hard. I think we all have this idea of who we want to be, an understanding of who we have been. But I think the hardest thing is to acknowledge, accept, and understand who you actually currently are, like in this very moment. Are you able to describe yourself to somebody, whether you might think it's good or bad? Are you able to just be like, yeah, this is what most people know? I certainly probably couldn't do that to a lot of people, but the most important thing is can I do that with myself? Can I list off my, quote unquote flaws? I'll get to this in a little bit of what I think a character flaw is, but can I look at these and not have to lie to myself, not have to come up with some story, concoct something that makes me feel better about whatever, whatever defect or flaw I have going for myself. So, like I said, you can analyze yourself if you take away the subjectiveness. If you remove the emotion, remove the shame, the guilt, the judgment, whatever it is, and just look at it, you'll be able to do that. Like, don't hate yourself, love yourself. Don't shy away from your flaws. Embrace them. Don't run from the truth. Accept it. You are who you are. There's these are characteristics. They're just who you are. They're not character flaws or defects. They're not, they're not character traits. They're not beneficial. You have to look at them as like, this is what it is. Because those connotations, they kind of just, that's it. They put a spin on the word already. Connotation is like how you, how something is said kind of alludes to like what emotional response you should have from it. And it's tricky when you're dealing with your own characteristics, but I think it's hard for me to say like I have character flaws. So basically what I'm saying is I'm perfect. Just kidding. 99.9% perfect. But no, for real, like it's hard to say flaws because there's always a flip side to it, right? Like there's something that might be a flaw. Like I said earlier, at one point could have been very beneficial for you because you protected yourself. Same with like, for me, drinking and the drugs I would be doing, it was like, that was a way for me to keep going and not fucking off myself. Like, as weird as that might sound from the objective standpoint, it's true. It's what it was. Like, it was a way for me to not like give in, to keep pushing, keep going. I didn't know that's what it was, but when I look back at it now, I completely see that. But anyways, I say like don't put the connotations on there because it kind of tells you how you should think about these things, which you don't know how you should think about them until you kind of are able to fully understand them and look at them for what they are. So, yeah. Shouldn't be that way, honestly. Like, should be that easy for you. Obviously, it takes a lot of work to even get to a starting point. I mean, shoot, I have been toiling around ideas like this for years now. And I feel like I kind of fully understand for the first time, now. Maybe because of, the psychiatric help I'm getting. The you know the There's some clarity there that I don't think I've had before. Um, so it's allowed me to be a little bit less judgy, feel less guilty, and just approach things like, okay, here's the goal, here's what I'm going to work through, boom, let's just grind it out. So kind of like, I guess it's part of the reason why I started drinking again with my experiment was I didn't really fully accept the truth, nor did I allow myself to analyze everything in my life and see, kind of what truth was for me. I guess maybe I did understand it like before when I guess I should give myself a little bit of credit back then, but so likely what had really happened was I just forgot what I had learned, that I was an alcoholic, can't touch it. I just forgot like that feeling of what I was going through and quickly relearned it. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably why I called it an experiment, was that like, I know it wasn't like gonna be 100% this way or 100% that way. I didn't know what it was gonna be, so I called it the experiment, just to be like, okay, cool, like let's just see, let's see what happens. But again, like I've said a few times now, I accept it. I get it. I'm not gonna fight it anymore. It's just part of me. It's just the way it is. Like, I feel so much better than I did even 2 months ago. And better even than 2 years ago. I think I've just been able to learn and compound on that, and kind of just fully accept the truth for what it is. And what's cool about that is like that aspect of my life, like albeit a big aspect of my life, but still only one aspect of my life. Like I understand that now, and the cool part about it is I can apply that to a ton of other things. Relationships, dating, even my own nutrition, my own health, exercise, how I'm presenting myself, like just a lot of things that that I can apply this to. I think like it kind of goes hand in hand with my psychiatric treatment, right? Like it's all kind of. It's funny. I had an epiphany this weekend. I kind of realized like why it is that I had so much trouble putting myself out there, why I was so uncomfortable in my own skin, and then why I chose substances to help break me out of that. It's because I just didn't feel okay with myself. Like I didn't feel okay in my own skin. I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel, everything that you would need to be like, yeah, I'm this person, I didn't feel any of that. So I know I subconsciously was like searching for that breakthrough, and I found it with alcohol. And what's crazy is like the blessing in disguise is that like I 155% know that I have it in me to be this, personable person and kind of be able to talk and not be, worrisome about what people think of me or what the message I'm giving off or the image I'm, wearing or whatever. I think I think I just was, running from that feeling of the anxiety that I was just experiencing this whole time. So yeah, I mean, the lack of that, not having that feeling, has been like completely eye opening for why I have been the way I have been, kind of my whole life, especially in my relationship to substances and drugs and whatnot. So yeah, that was kind of cool, I guess, cool to understand that. Just it doesn't change anything from my current circumstance, but it does open up my eyes to like a lot of things I was going through and a lot of the questions I had, and why do I not feel happy when I'm not on some sort of substance, or why am I not connecting with people, or whatever it is. It was solely something that was within me. And I was running from that truth. Even if I didn't know I was doing so, I thought I was helping myself feel better. So anyways, no longer fighting that. I'm not fighting the depression. I'm not fighting the anxiety. I'm not fighting the alcoholism, addiction. I'm okay with that. I'm okay being somebody who has to live with this. For one, it's made me who I am. And there's no changing it, right? Like, there's no like, I used to get caught in this "I wish it was" mentality, right? Like, I wish it was this way, or I wish I was this way, or I wish it wasn't this way. Like, there's a lot of wishing that happens over here, and it's just not anything good, right? Like, granted, wishing something can get some people motivated. I know a lot of people that take that "I wish it was" feeling and apply that into motivation for them to get in the gym or eat better, or read some books, or go to therapy, whatever it is. Some people can flip that into it, pretty naturally. But for me, it's like I used to get caught in this whirlpool of "I wish it was." And that's kind of where my downfall was for a long time. I always felt like something was off with me, mentally, emotionally, but I never acknowledged it in that full sense of appreciating, and in a way that I loved myself and appreciated myself. It was it was just kind of like a fleeting thought. I'm like, no, I can fight it. Or I could be this person that I wish I was. Like, I can be that person. And it wasn't until I like gave in and said like I couldn't be that person that I actually started becoming that person. I know that doesn't sound right, but it kind of goes into like this surrendering to this whatever. Surrendering, some people would say God, some people would say universe. For me, it's one and the same, right? A higher power. Surrendering to that and just kind of accepting, right? Like, that's kind of been the whole theme of this episode. Yeah. So like, I knew something was always a little bit off. It wasn't like everybody else. Still not like everybody else, but it's not that I want to be like everybody else. It's just like I never wanted to be different. I always wanted to fit in. But now obviously things are different. Things have changed. And I thought I might be depressed. I wished I wasn't. When I realized I was an alcoholic, I wished I wasn't. I wished I didn't do anything about it. Sat on my ass, did nothing. I just wished and wished and wished. Now I guess I still wish, like, I wish I wish I was happy. Wish I was content. I wish could sit still. And I'm doing something about it now. And so I might not be healed or fixed or whatever. But I'm doing something about it, and it makes me feel a whole lot better than not doing anything about it. So there is a definite like difference in kind of my mentality and just overall demeanor, I guess. I'm not sitting there wishing and hoping for God or the universe or fucking Ronald McDonald to come save me and remove this terribleness I feel. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I have to say. But anyways, thank you. Appreciate everybody for tuning in and listening or watching. If you're watching, thank you so much. Every play means a lot. Please reach out to me with feedback, with, even if you want to let me know, hey, listen to it. That's great. Reach out, especially with, if you're like me and you're going through anything that I'm going through, community helps. Don't isolate yourself. Don't paint yourself in a corner. No matter what, there's help out there. There's people that want to fight for you. There's people that can support you. But it takes you being honest. It takes you being able to admit the truth and speak freely about what you feel and how you feel and why you feel. Life's too short to pretend. Just fucking be you. Just be you, baby. Just, accept it. Live. If something's bothering you, change it. That's all I can really say. So anyways, thank you again for listening. Please like, comment, subscribe, follow, whatever it is. It helps me share this podcast. Please, that's the best way that we can get the message out. And it's also the biggest way that you can support this podcast. I don't have really much by way of monetization. The way you can help me is by sharing. So if you made it this far, appreciate you, love you, and tune in next time. Peace. Did we cut? We cut? Yeah. God, these alcoholics are such fucking bitches. Oh my God.